Hi, so I'm doing um another random video based on some dreams, and it also reminds me of another video. These dreams are kind of like about Jesus and a situation that I've saw in my head on my dreams since I was younger, and I've started meeting certain people from these dreams in real life, and some of them are around the same age, and some of them are still the same age as they were before. Um, so like in these dreams, someone might be hated or looked down upon um, because like they're kind of like a reflection of the soul to people. Um, and this person, someone actually knows they are Jesus, and people say they're sinful and they're this or that in this dream, and they hate them and they look down upon them, but they have reasons for everything they do. And like in certain circumstances, it also shows that like not everything today is exactly true to what the Bible is exactly. Um, yeah. So like in this dream, like someone knows they're Jesus, and they're kind of given like God talks to them and they says they're Jesus a couple of times and they reassure them and they know it. Which is not all these modern day interpretations about what Jesus could be like. You're not supposed to fucking cut up and consume and eat them. Like I think they took eat the bread for it as my flesh and this or that too seriously, kind of things. But yeah, it was kind of about Jesus and like this end time, and it was based around a tree, and there was a White Castle, and like all these people in it, and like there was a muse, and there was also like someone who was doing the exact same or the opposite of Jesus. Like if they take a step back, they would take a step back. If they took a step forward, they'd take a step forward. If they go put their right hand up, they put their left hand up. It was interesting. It also makes me think about this video I saw to do with someone who went by the name on something of Who J or J Who, which was interesting. Something about like someone um, who someone apparently knows, which kind of reminded me of a situation to do with someone who was apparently actually a soldier and people stealing from them, people lying and pretending to be them, or another video about someone using someone's image or picture. And this person did in fact like know God and something about Jesus, and they knew like the Whore of Babylon, Bethesda, and all of these different things and situations. And I thought that was fairly cool and interesting. It's cool, it's relevant. Apparently, there was like a Jezebel, a spirit or a Jezebel type being involved in this, who, when this person died, was going to apparently or allegedly be ripped into like a bunch of tiny pieces. Not like magically cut or disintegrated, but like actually just ripped into tiny pieces. Just kind of scary and sad. But I guess if someone's going out of their way to hurt and cause chaos and hurt innocent people and children, maybe it's different. But I don't know. I don't know what my viewpoint on that was. It just reminded me of that. But like, yeah, this dream about Jesus, Jesus kind of had like these different powers or abilities, and it was also explained about like how blessings work, and blessings is magic, which is not to be confused for sorcery or witchcraft. So it's kind of like that, like in TV shows, you see angels have their abilities or the things they can do, which is magic, and magic is what like breast blessing and prayers are kind of magic. There's also like witchcraft and sorcery and evil magics as well. And when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm not saying do it because you shouldn't do it. You should like pray for the blessings and go to the blessings as well. But like in certain situations, someone might have to pay for the sins of their forefather, meaning so if someone had a line where someone in that line was a witch and the child is born as that, then it's not necessarily the same thing and the same punishment for that person to do it because they were already born as it. It could be certain situations where they might have to do something bad to awaken as it, like an energy stealer or siphoner has to purposely do it a couple of times in their life in order to become that and require that. So it's like, different then. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like someone in the line might make that, and then God might find them approach and be like, work with us and the angels when you do your magic and use the angel for your magic, or like they gave someone an opportunity and said, be an angel witch, and like there'll always be an angel do magic when the angels is nearby. And like an angel will always hear when you do this, and it'll be through angels working with angels, not demons, which I thought was pretty interesting. In this dream, that person was told to wait 1,000 years for magic in order to get their own magic and for good magic to be like good magic incarnate. And then they said, "Oh, you have to wait for another 1,000 years when they got there." So they waited again, and then before the 1,000 years was up, secretly they came to them and said, "Well, I'm going to give you this magic and this energy you've waited for." Like this person didn't even want to do magic. Like they were a warrior originally, but because God said, "Do this magic, you'll do the magic one day, but you have to wait for the magic," so they did. They kind of just end up giving them this magic, and like they told this person to do essentially their version of like this spells, which was kind of like actually prayer, and it was part of it was like shaping their abilities or the abilities they were going to give their people and the priests and the prophets and all these different things, and like some of it was also foresight and fortune telling on things that could or would happen as a result of this, which was interesting. Yeah, in this dream, Jesus was given apocalypse powers. Like some of his powers were something to do with the elements, and it was like a combination of them all, and it kind of looked like fireworks. But there was this woman who could also do it, and if someone stole it, it would like sparkle mean the end of their people, for stealing it. Which like Jesus would get these like kind of fireworks like powers in the apocalypse, which was interesting. Um, yeah. And then like when God approached this one, they told him to do this thing with their hand that was like this, like do this. And yeah, they were asked their favorite color, which I said at the time I think it's blue. And God said, well, it's going to be pink one day, so I want to give you pink. And they're like, well, I think it's blue. And they were kind of a little bit ungrateful or unhappy about it, but they were like, at the same time, well, you're right as well, and you're right too, so I guess it will be one day, so that's cool. And they were kind of a little bit bitter about it, but they accepted it anyway. And God turned around and said, I'm going to invent a new color for you. Like, just going to invent this new color that only certain beings or people will be able to perceive, which is kind of like pink or blue, or both of them in between, which is not purple, but or it could be purple, I don't know. Which is like they invented this new color, for this being, and the energy they do will be this color or this new color. And if anyone steals energy from this Jesus person or like this angel person being, or even the angelic witch, they will be punished or turned into like what they least want to be as a result of it. And so that, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, there was a particular mention to one person in this who was a demon, and she was like a good one, which was interesting, but I'm not gonna say that. Which was kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, this dream about like the whole situation to do with Jesus and this or that. I don't think it was in the country I'm in right now. It's interesting because there are no White Castle burger shops, and I haven't really seen this particular tree anywhere. And someone was told to wait at the base of the tree, um, for someone to find or meet them or do something there, which was kind of interesting. And there was like the White Castle, and someone was going to get cut. Like someone I knew from this dream or in this dream was going to get cut a lot of times. They already had scars. They're going to get cut a lot of times. And someone said they were this, and then something happened to do with this. It was this horrible situation, and like, um, in this dream, someone also, who I might have seen in the background or something, was supposed to be someone who people might have thought was a healer, but was not a healer, who was like something to do with a lake. There was like a lake they were going to come out of, or that they were in, which was like people when they saw them shouted plague and ran away. Some people might have even confused this for something person for something they were not, which was interesting. It was kind of a scary situation or dream, but it was just a dream. And I'm gonna look in the dream journals and dictionary and look up the definitions and meanings of all these dreams and what it could be. But it was weird. It was like I was watching a TV show, but then I realized I wasn't, and it ended all of a sudden, and it wasn't even the same thing on TV. And I tried to find it, and it wasn't on, and it hadn't been on. I couldn't find this movie anywhere, but I've been seeing and meeting all different people from it, which is kind of interesting. I was like, oh, are these people children of actors or something? But yeah, it was kind of interesting. Okay, which one of these cards should I read first? I've got the Prophet and Oracle card set. I've got the Art of War Oracle card set. I read from all these all the times. I've got the Liquid Crystal Oracle set. When it comes to oracles and foresight beings of times with dreams, I've had the Adventure Time ones as well. If someone's not born with that natural capability of magic, which is like a blessing, so like they're not born with like the ability or the gift or the blessing, and they go out to do it, or they do curses or like witchcraft, which they're not supposed to do, or this or that to do it, then it's kind of bad. But you can always pray. Like, there's for instance like a theory I've had on the show Charmed, which I'm not 100% sure about, which is that I've been told about, which is that like someone in their line far back did witchcraft or sorcery, so all the children were born like that, and they would kind of essentially pay for the sins of their forefathers in being born like that. So someone in their line a while back made a deal with an angel or a deal with God in order to be good and do good and live on Earth, which I thought was kind of cool and an interesting theory. Um, but yeah, it also works strange because you shouldn't overuse or abuse your powers or use them like recklessly or carelessly, because like when it comes to that particular one, time magic and its origins, it actually takes time to use. So like the more they would use their time magic, like they didn't realize that they were getting older quicker than they should have. Um, and they would end up living for like 5 or 40 years, which is where some of the tales of evil witches came, stealing children because they were stealing, getting these children, and they were like, came back looking like their father but confused, and their father had forgotten everything, but that was because they had stolen their youth, which is not all the time, because if they did it for good and they were unaware and they did it for good and they're found by an angel and they're deemed to actually be a good person doing it for good reasons, they might bless them with like bountiful youth or youthful beauty or something so that they can use it when they need to. But like even some of the magic in its origin was spirit. So if you use it and use it for no reason or use it for a bad, wrong reason and don't tell people about it or lie about it, it may leave you to someone it knows or somewhere it knows or someone that wants to help as well, because like some of its magic or a lot of its origins from these dreams was like hard things and situations that happened to do with like these sacrifices, like people getting burnt alive in these weird ritual sacrifice things in order to create fire spirit beings that could be called on as fire magic, because all of this magic in its origin was supposed to be white witches or witches that turn white who could control spirits and stuff, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, and then down the line, the green witches and the green witch mentality came because some of these beings, when they died, their spells wouldn't break and they could turn into spirits, and they would possess dead bodies, and these dead bodies being kept alive by them could turn white, but they would also turn green, and if someone, one of these witches that was in their true form, but they were inside of someone, possessing someone, bred with someone, where they were in a body and bred with someone else, the child would come out like neither dead nor alive, but something in between. So that's where they get the green skin from, because they were born neither dead or alive, which is interesting. That's like one big theory on it. So that must be a suck existence, a painful existence, and I hope if those beings are good and do the good thing or the right thing, maybe they get the blessing and they feel better, or yeah, which is kind of interesting. This is also something I got for doing runes, which I think is kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like the theory to do with like the possession and the green bodies, like that can work in different ways. Like if there are two different spirits or beings possessing two people and they do it at the same time with them, this child could come off with like a soul and a spirit and a body, so they could have four parents, or they could have three, or they could have two. It's interesting, and depending if like that being that was possessed was like a part human being that was something else that was possessed as well, which is kind of interesting because anything that's part human can be partially possessed as well, which is interesting. It kind of like comes with certain theories, like let's say witches or foxes, like if someone gets the blood of a witch, they became like beings like witch-ish. If they were an actual witch, they were witches. If they were a child of a witch, they were like witches also, or witch borns, but they were like witch borns or witches. And if someone was possessing the body and bred with someone that wasn't that, but they were also like they were still possessing them, they would kind of be witchborns instead of witches. Let's say witchborns is the one that spawns, but if someone in the past had possessed them and they were left off with some of the energies of it, kind of like how you see on TV shows where some of the people have the whiskers from birth, not during puberty, which is like an actual child that would have them from puberty, not birth. um, then they would kind of be like they would just be in their blood or their DNA. So let's call them witchish, which is kind of interesting. Like there's all different ways that can work to do with spirits and even angels or this or that with the energy inside of someone, or like they can even get given or gifted the energy from these people, which is interesting. Just all the different ways and theories I've heard about these things that happen, which is interesting. And like if you've heard like a popular example of something of this could be like Foxy Brown on TV, if you've heard about that, it could be Foxy Love or Foxy Good, I'm not 100% sure. It's like the lady on Drawn Together who's in Josie and the Pussycats. She is actually the child, so like something the fox in its true form has child with woman, so that's why she comes off with the tails. She in particular was also quite lucky to get that because it could have been anything from like law and spirituality. They know about this. She could have came up with like a random fox face that could be confused for a wolf or something else. She could have not got the tails, or she was lucky because she got like when she get pops out, like she pops out the tails, but she might not have necessarily got that. She could have just got like the ears or the paws or even the fucking genitals looking different like that, changing color, which was interesting. Um, but it's not always that irrelevant because, like, some people think you have to be possessed, but some can be born. It could be in their true form. It could be possessing someone, breeding them, which is all interesting because there's different ways and different versions or types of the same thing, which is interesting. Yeah. So anyway, these dreams about Jesus is interesting. Um, there's like this apocalypse situation and this stuff is gonna happen, and beings like to do with foresight, like they if they want to do the good foresight beings, they have to be born with the ability or guided or shown things by an angel as well is another way for these foresights to happen. Like you can do divination, which through witchcraft, but I don't think that's a good idea because it's not a very good idea because you'll see things you're not supposed to see, which is kind of like sinful. It could be shown by an angel, or you could also be from a line of people who possess these gifts naturally, which is like a different story because it's not as bad for you to do it, but you have to know when to do it and when not to do it to not upset things. Um, which is kind of interesting theories. Um, like in this dream, some of the people or the lines that have these abilities, some of them had people in the past that did them. So they came up with these naturally. Some were working with spirits, and some were working with demons and doing evil things, which weren't necessarily actually seeing things so much as making things come into existence, which was very bad and wrong. But like these kind of like oracle beings were created originally, like so like the oracles were created by like God originally, and they knew what they were supposed to see, and they had their specific things they're supposed to see, not anything else. So they wouldn't actually see everything. Like everyone's like, oh, if they were an oracle or a psychic, they would have just known. That's putting too much expectation. Get a level one if you have like a level one healer who can heal a scrape of getting infected and then you inject them with cancer and say cure it, they could still die because they're not ready or they're not capable of doing that yet or they don't have the capability. Like if you get a healer who can heal disease and you cut them and say heal it before you bleed out, they could die because they're not able to heal sick like physical like that's called regenerative healing to heal like the physical body is called regenerative healing or regeneration, whereas healing in these spiritual terms is healing like a sickness. So I don't confuse them for each other, which is kind of interesting. Like someone could be capable of both, someone could steal something from someone on both, but it's like an interesting theory. I keep getting sidetracked. And I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. So in this dream, Jesus could heal. He could do all these different things. He also knew God, and they had to like create their form, which was kind of inspired by their brothers as well. And they started off as like um, a white faced being who didn't exactly have a form originally. They kind of like had to help create their form together when they kind of came into existence again, which was interesting. So yeah, let's see what insights I can get to do with this. Yes, and also in the modern day things, like you see that like apparently it says, oh, the angels will kill you, this or that, in certain TV shows if you're born with something, but I think that's wrong and not exactly right or okay because you know, by the actual Bible, the original Bible, it wasn't as unfair as some things might happen, or even certain things in modern day times. Even what essentially the difference was like if you're gonna get punished for a crime, they would have to know that you're actually guilty of the crime first, so you would get punished for the crime as well. And like if you were born as something and you did something, there would just be exceptions or rules that you'd have to follow on it. Like, don't do this, but you can do this. It's okay. Like certain things could be okay, but certain things could not be okay as well. Um, like that would come down, for instance, witches and magic. It would come down to the big forbidden ones. Like I think certain things would be more forbidden than others, like luck and success spells, beauty rituals, were two of the big forbidden ones because they would, or healing spells as well. Like healing abilities and energy is okay, but healing spells or beauty spells or luck spells are very bad because casting a spell to say like make this person heal or make this person better and no longer sick could take the health of someone or put the sickness into someone else, just as like if you were to do a beauty spell or ritual, it would take the beauty from someone else, and like that could put the swing of the universe off. It'll make this person not look like they're supposed to do, which in turn, as an example, could make someone look in the wrong direction, which makes them take a step here, which makes this person move around them and take a step here, which makes this person walk out in front of a car even, or make someone like later than they should be to a situation, or make someone not look at someone in the same way they're supposed to be when they're not when they're supposed to meet, which will affect like when they'll meet someone in life later, or will affect their situation, or like it could affect so many different things, or like a success spell or a wealth spell will physically take it from somewhere else. So like if there's a witch who was going to let her children know about this and was going to let her children do success spells, but said like don't do them all the time and do them sparingly and this or that, like that person in particular to do that, they should probably have like a secret coffin full of money buried somewhere, because it would like physically take money from somewhere else, or it would physically take success from someone else, and someone who earned their success or was supposed to be successful wouldn't get it. So like you know, that person would be successful without being supposed to be and stuff, which is interesting. Just like some people in the TV shows are like always calling on these energy or these spirits or this magic, and sometimes it doesn't work itself, so they keep doing it again and again. That's actually kind of bad, and you can piss things off as well, especially because if it doesn't work the first time, you probably shouldn't do it again. Because at that point, like someone's like, "Oh, I'm calling on the strength of my ancestors," and they keep doing it again and again and again, and like someone goes off of them, like, "You're not supposed to do that. You shouldn't be doing that," because they're like annoying these older beings and they're calling on the strength, but then they're not getting it. So eventually, what they're doing is they're actually teaching or tuning themselves to the ability to steal and drain strength. So they're stealing from their ancestors, which is kind of interesting. Like, you know, in this dream, someone was older than someone's ancestors, and that's how much someone had been stealing from them, which was kind of interesting. Let's see. It's all just theories and conjecture based off of a dream of Jesus I had and stuff. I also had this another dream about someone who was like at a university or college, and I don't know if there was one or two of these beings, but they were like flying and breathing fire, and like this person was running away and saying they were bad, but in the background there was like fucking like 18 werewolves going after this person, and it was an interesting situation because like they were after the one that was flying and running away from that, but this one was like herding them away from this group of like all these different werewolves and stuff, which was kind of interesting situation. She was in danger. Um, in the past for this we've got blue lace agate, so a calm expression, maybe someone who knew something. In the present, we have a Kundalini awakening or heart activation. I mean, Kunzanite, not Kundalini awakening, heart activation. In the future, Earth light and new vision, soda light and smoky quartz. Yeah. Yeah, and like some things might not be as it seems, because like, for instance, I was watching the TV show Sabrina, and in that they were like, "Oh, these avenging angels are going to kill you," and I was like, "Well, why did they not hurt this one and say and blah 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 for no reason, and then they hurt these other ones?" And I was like, "What even are the avenging angels?" So I searched it up, and from what I could find on the information of that, apparently they're like a branch of angels in like the 1800s or the 1980s or something, who said, "Oh, we want to kill all these different things just because they are, because we don't like it, we don't think it's right, and they're not right." And they like actually were punished for that, and they were no longer like normal angels, and they kind of called themselves the avenging angels, but apparently they weren't supposed to do that. I don't know if that's actually correct or not, so don't quote me, but from what I understood about all these things in these different situations, like the angels in these different beings wouldn't actually punish someone unless they committed the crime to meet the sin. And like, yeah. And like the children or descendants of these people that had done something bad and got this thing on their line will be different as well. And there's also certain things to do with curses and being turned, which is also kind of interesting, which is like, why would you do that? Don't even, like, you know, um, the punishment comes naturally from the universe, which is like the judges and the justice and the angels of the universe are supposed to do this. But I don't know, you've got all these different versions of like gods and deities as well, which I've heard many different theories about, saying, oh, they're the demons or they're the angels that rebelled with Lucifer or this or that, but I don't know which one's true, so honestly. Okay, so we've got don't burn your bridges. In life, things will not always go your way. Whatever happens, always keep a line of sight. Always keep a line of communication over. Never burden your badges. Never burn your bridges with friends, colleagues, or new clients. Acting on impulse may lead to destruction that is harder and impossible to reverse. Focus instead on the positive and on happiness in everything you do. And Sun Tzu said, um, anger may in times change to gladness. US vexation may be succeeded by context, but a kingdom that has come, the kingdom has once been destroyed, can never come back again into being, nor can the dead ever be brought back to life, which is kind of interesting. Life has a toll, life has this, life has that. Like reviving someone takes this, and you're supposed to do this or that, but it'll never be the same in this, and like, even if you bring someone back, they might never be the same as when they were alive. You could turn them into something else, which is kind of interesting. Um, the next one, Sun Tzu said, we cannot enter into alliance with neighboring princes until we are acquainted with her designs. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. Friends beyond mediumship. Friends make you rich beyond measure. What is a friend? A friend is someone special in your life, someone you know, warts and all. A friend knows that you are not perfect and that you don't agree on everything all the time, but you still love each other. We can look up the word friendship. We can look up to the world. No, we can look up to the word friendship, sorry, in the dictionary, but nothing means more than friendship. Oh, sorry, but the meaning is really okay. The meaning is really only known in our hearts. No, that reminds me of a woman I didn't really know. I don't think I know. I don't really remember knowing. When I was at like a pond, and I have been practicing because like people had said things about healing, and I have been practicing healing energy because apparently I had an affinity for it when I was a child, and there was like a lake there. So I kind of thought, well, I kind of want to try using healing energy on this lake because it's so dirty and polluted. Not sure if it gave me herpes touching it, but um, like I touched it, and then from the spot I touched, it all around it, the water got clear in a circle, and like the lake all around started just to get clear and purified as well, in like a circle radius area around where I touched, which was kind of cool and interesting. But then, like, after that, a lady looked at me and said, oh, I can do that too. And I was like, interesting, because a lot of people have said that when they can do these things about they can do it too. And she started doing this thing with her hands and that. And then all of a sudden, she, like, got this weird look and she basically shit herself. And then her face got covered in all these warts, which I thought was kind of interesting and different. I don't know if I can do that at the moment anymore, but I've done it a bunch of times before. I also tried to do it at a shop, a Subway I worked at as well, because I like someone's like, if it's the apocalypse, the first thing you have to do is practice purifying water. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I'm not sure if I can do it anymore, but it's interesting, kind of interesting. Um, okay. Sun Tzu said, if words of commands are not clear and distinct, if orders are not thoroughly understood, then what is the Grand Central? Then the general, sorry, not what is the Grand Central, then the general is to blame. But if his orders are clear and the soldier disobey them, it's the fault of the officers. Communicate effectively. It is very easy to think that someone understands what you're trying to say just because you do it. In all interactions in person, on the phone, text, and email, ensure that what you are saying is clear, distinct, and understood. Give examples, think carefully about your words, and ask them what you think you have said to avoid errors in communication. Sun Tzu said, a soldier's spirit is kept in the east. A soldier's spirit is keenest in the morning. By nobody By no by noonday it has begun to flag, and in the evening his mind is bent only on returning to camp. This is the art of studying moods. Sorry, I got a fucking cold lately. Listen, access the mood, then talk when the time is right. If you had bad news to impact or touchy situation to discuss, be aware of the mood the person you're going to talk to. With practice, you should be able to gauge when someone will be restrained to your ideas and when they'll open to your point of view and happy to find a resolution. It's kind of interesting. Um, Kind of make me think of this certain situation. To do with something I read when I was a child. Apparently, it's like about. I thought about this because of the healing thing. Obviously, it's not me, but like the healing in the Bible, something to do about the healer bread and bread, or something about something to do with that. And like the healer, they wouldn't think it was the healer. Like apparently in the Bible, there's someone who's actually a healer and is born to be the healer, and for some reason, it looks like punishment, but I don't think it's actually supposed to be punishment. Like God gives this person an incurable bowel condition if they're actually a healer to heal. They give them an incurable bowel condition to heal, and it would actually be incurable. Um, which is interesting. Um, but yeah, it's kind of interesting theories. Okay, so I'm getting 2 cards for this one. Oh, now I'm getting 3. Um, the visions of one leads not a lends not its wings. The vision of one lends not its wings to another. Teaching. So someone who apparently lended or gave something to someone else, or someone's wings was confused or mistaken for someone else. I think it's interesting. Interesting things and situations. The measureless and the immeasurable, or I was gonna say the measures and the restraints for some reason, but I don't think that's right. It's an interesting card. And for the future, let your best friend guide you. Let your best be for your friend. Friendship. It's kind of interesting. Let's see. I really want to read the actual meaning of the past one for this one because it interests me. Let us see. The visions of one lends not its wings to another. Teaching. Ancestor, the astronomer may speak to you of his understanding of space, but he cannot give you his understanding. The musician may sing to you the rhythm of which is in all space, sorry, but he cannot give you the ear which arrests the rhythm, nor the voice that echoes it. And who is versed in the science of numbers can tell of the regions of weight and measure, but he cannot conduct you there. But he cannot conduct you thither. Thither. I don't know what that means. Thither, whatever that means. For the visions of one man lends not its wings to another man. And even as each of you stands alone in God's knowledge, so must each one of you be alone in his knowledge of God and in his understanding of the earth. It's kind of interesting. I mean, let your best friend guide you, or let your best friend be your friend. Let your best be for your friend, sorry, for the future friendship. The measureless and the immeasurable. So something about time at the moment. Let's see. Of time you would make a stream upon whose banks you would sit and watch its flowing. Yet the timeless in you is aware of life's timelessness. and knows that yesterday is but today's memory, and tomorrow is today's dream, and that which sings and contemplates in you is still dwelling within the bounds of that first moment, which scattered into the stars in space. Who among you does not feel that his power is love and abundance? I mean, his power to love is boundless. I mean, that's interesting. It's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of the theory about like all the foresight beings, and some people might expect way too much of someone. They expect someone to be capable of what it's not, you know. Um, let's think of an example. Someone is a first year scientist or someone is a scientist, and you say, I want you to cure cancer now. Someone might be capable of curing this cancer, but someone also might not be capable of curing it. You know what I mean? Like, someone might be capable, but someone might not. You say someone is a chef, right? Someone is a chef. They are a chef of pastries, but you walk into a sushi chef and this person's like wearing a chef's apron and you're like, oh, you're a chef, make me some sushi. They might not know how to make the fucking sushi. They're not yet capable of making the sushi. Don't expect sushi from cakes. You know, it could be one day there could be sushi cake chefs, yes, but you know, don't expect sushi from a cake chef. Don't expect people to be capable of what they're not capable. It's almost impossible for someone to see all and everything, and if they do, you might find out it's not actually them or theirs, or you know, it's not really supposed to happen. Which is interesting. Like, it reminds me about what in this dream had to do with the High Oracle, the High being a foresight. People expect the High Oracle, the one that comes every 1,000 years, the rare one, to see all and know all and everything. But like what these ones are high beings are supposed to do is they're actually supposed to see all of the other psychic beings or beings with foresight. So they see all of these other psychic beings, all the beings that contain foresight. Um, and that is essentially what their role or their thing to do. Or the big important high thing is that they can watch the others and tell people what the others do, and keep them in check and know what they're doing and keep an eye or tabs on them, or communicate them together, or even send all these beings to different visions, or show them each other's visions, or let them find each other. Okay, so for this situation in the present, we have in reverse the Knight of Swords, someone who is a lover, not a fighter, someone who may appear to be a warrior, but they're not a warrior. Um, Someone who is the opposite of reforming or reformer, someone who is unprepared to make sacrifices for anyone else, which is kind of for just causes. So someone who is prepared to make unprepared to make sacrifices, maybe for unjust causes. I could have read that wrong, but someone who is unwilling to make sacrifices in certain situations. It could be for unjust causes because that's the opposite of just causes, or it could be someone who's just not willing to make sacrifices for someone else, which is interesting. Um, I don't know what that has to do with me talking of Jesus dreams and stuff. Maybe it's relevant to someone, maybe it's not. Um, okay, so someone is a cowardly warrior, who only fights for themselves. Someone who darts in to attack, not to defend. Um, Someone who brings justice, or someone who challenges justice, or I don't know, maybe someone who sees injustice, someone who challenges justice. Sees Someone who shows cowardice when actually faced with certain situations, but behind closed doors will be like this big man. Someone who would attack somebody from behind, or while somebody is asleep or unaware, but not generally face on. Someone who is unwilling to make sacrifices to help other people out, they would only do it for themselves. Someone who doesn't have very good morals or principles is relevant in a situation to do with something if this was someone that someone might not see. Um, Someone who wouldn't fight for justice. Um, Someone who is older than someone. Someone might be older than someone. May represent a young man or woman. So maybe it's an older man or woman. Um, who, displays bad qualities. Someone who needs to develop like more just characteristics and viewpoints on things. Let's see what the card looks like. So they're like writing a heart thing and heels. So someone who is um hanging off of someone else's love or heart or situation. So someone who is kind of like hanging off of the love of someone else, and someone's love is like dressed up and like they're trying to like someone is trying to use someone's love by dressing up and then looking like they are lovely being on the same kind of love as someone. And this person is like hanging off of this situation or this thing or this person. Um, and they're kind of like their love is trying to keep them together or holding on or standing strong. But one of these people is kind of dragging, like pulling the other down, um, which is interesting. Let's see. I've got one more deck for this pointless ass reading. Where the fuck did I put these? It's gone to a room, but I don't know where I put the things. Oh wait, I got two more decks there. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Okay, so that's more. I got this one, and then I say this one, which I think this one represents a secret, or a secret. And then we have. I remember what that one. One might be Manaz, but I don't remember. I don't really know. And then Rodeo, which is like journey or a journey to somewhere. Okay, so gotta find the pages. Yeah, I mean, me personally, it's reminded me of the theory of people expecting too much from people who might not be able to see specifically what they want them to see, trying to make things fit where it shouldn't. And like, it also reminds me, like, I don't know why anyone would go out of their way and do these certain things for no reason, especially with like where it will lead up or end. But certain people, like their children or their children's children, or even people in their family, will know, and they're like, this sucks because of them. But like you might be expecting too much from these people, or expecting people and things to be capable of something they're not capable of, which sucks. I mean, thank God for like things just changing all of a sudden. Someone no longer standing where they were standing, because it reminds me of some people's family being capable of just time things, and someone's just no longer standing there, and someone doesn't know where they're there. It's like what's going on right now. It's interesting. So this first one, it was not Manaz. Manaz has got the little V there. This represents changes in your work life or where you're living, possibly leading you to travel. So change in a work life or living situation. So a change in a work life situation, or where someone is or where someone's living. What the fuck one was next? I can't remember, so I'm just doing this one next. Oh, the next one was Manaz. Initiation into a new way of life, into feeling confident enough to stand on your own 2 feet. So someone might be moving out of home into their own place, which is interesting, or starting off on their own, or like doing something without someone, which is kind of interesting. Someone standing on their own 2 feet, standing up for themselves, what they are and believe in, which is kind of interesting, which could be in relation to this new work or home life. I think is interesting. Um, yeah, this is also possibly represented by a horse, I think, if I remember correctly. Um, I already read that one. I believe it was Perthro next, which if I remember, or was it Windsor? No, it's Perthro, I believe. Um, Perthro means that we will be doing a lot more socializing and entertaining in this period, which also signals unexpected financial gains. Okay, I thought it meant that it was something that was secret, but it means unexpected financial gains. Um, and Redeo, means a journey, I believe. There is it. Oh, there it is. Refers to changes such as finding a new home or workplace or unexpected travel. Did I already do this one? Oh no, I didn't. It's just similar. It's finding a new home or workplace, unexpected travel that proves to be very rewarding, which is kind of interesting. So someone's going to travel or change to a new location or a new place and get it, maybe leave their job or get a new job. I would personally make sure you've got a job before you leave your old job, unless you have enough saved to wait until that or till you can get on a benefit or something, which is interesting because we obviously, in the country I live in, are lucky enough to have benefits. Um, Interesting. Someone might get a new job or position. Kind of interesting. Let's see. Life can't be lived in a vacuum. You need to get out of there and let the universe reveal its plan for you. From the Book of Answers. Let's see. Remember that it can take 10 years to become an overnight sensation, so start now. Even if this person doesn't get to live the new life they want straight away, making a change and starting now is all someone needs to do to make it somewhere. Like, I used to have this personal saying or quote. I told Max about it. It's like, shoot for the stars, because like shoot for the stars, that way even if you don't make it where you want to or you fall along the way, shoot for the stars, because that way even if you fall along the way you will end up somewhere higher than if you didn't, and you'll be closer to the stars, which is interesting. I'm talking about like falling while you're trying to walk somewhere. Like, it's interesting. No, I'm not really getting anything from this, but I am also kind of getting this one or this one. So we have, they're all upside down, so it's not that way. We have the Magician and the Mirror, and we have the fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. It's kind of interesting. He's got that invisible sword forming there. I haven't done these ones in a long time. I don't really remember what any of them mean. Knowing and using your true power. This card represents the the communication of your personal and spiritual power. This time, in the Magician's left hand is the flame of passion and action. In his right hand is a vortex of water and the light of reflection. His holy beauty, his highly beneficial card, is telling you that you are the magician, and within your grasp are the amazing forces of earth and spirit. The water is the energy of yin, and the power of spirit, clearly of thought. The flame is the energy of yang, bringing direction and creativity together. They are you, the magnificent magic of, I was going to say, trauma transformation. The mirror stands behind the magician, reflecting the outer world's response on your choice or to dismiss your true power that you have. Its silver reflection reveals that failure is a mist on the horizon, ready to be magically formed. You are the alchemist of your life. You are now able to transform your difficulties into great blessing. Um, Claim your power and embrace your life's inheritance. You may need to change the direction of your heart. You may not. Move forward to your destiny, and the future will be clear. Okay. So we've got for this other one, self-expression and speaking your truth. I'm not really going to read this one, just the affirmation. My throat chakra is open to its perfect healthy state, spinning with the beautiful energy of freedom and self-empowerment. I am free to express myself in every way, which is affirmation. And just a little bit about this trumpet, beautiful orb, golden light. It's a long one. Powerful energy, third chakra. Your soul longs to take a leave. Don't deny yourself. Communication project is coming out. A time of heightened compassion with the spiritual. Let's see. Self-love. You can't fully process your emotions without tending to your nervous system. Just a quick one here before I go for my ciggy. I'm just going to say this one and this one. And not that one. No, this one. And this one. Okay, so 3 of fire. Someone who was lacking abundance in the past, so they didn't have very much. They had like nothing or started with nothing. They didn't have much in the past. Someone who has the illusion of freedom. Someone who is very confident. Someone who will take action to do with something or a situation. Okay, in the future we have a job well done, a joy, something that was concealed, contentment, someone who's showing gratitude, a path forward to enlightenment. Like, I'm getting, don't mess with someone, they are loved. Someone who's come from a bad situation or a bad thing into the future, which is good, or a good situation, which is kind of interesting. Which kind of reminds me of love. Don't go out of your way to hurt anyone. Just kind of interesting. I don't know. Just theories. Okay. Well, that is like the next bit of this terrible ass reasoning. Thank you. Good night. Love, peace, and light or darkness, depending on what time of day it is where you are. Bye.